we can reach.
Hey, everybody. I caught Guy mid phrase, which is always fun. This is like, I don't know what we're calling this guy. It's our new show, My Time with Guy. I don't know.
Right. It's
We need
it's
to come up with a better name.
yeah, more wackiness, I guess.
Yeah, more wackiness. Guy sat in with Mike Brown and I love doing podcasts with Mike. Mike's a funny guy. Mike embraces sports. Mike's a little bit more locked
He,
in on
he
the
was very
sport.
intense about his Browns hits,
Yes.
and I agreed with almost everything he said. So I guess
Well,
it
well
was a good podcast.
I'll put it this way: Mike's not wacky, and I know sometimes guys get into the
Right.
wacky stuff. So let's talk about a couple issues real quick. I said this before. Um, this is a weird day. Trying to get about 6 different podcasts in at night because it's Christmas week. We're taping this on December 23rd. So let's get through some of these issues. Let's start with a non-Christmas story. Donald Trump is about ready to retake the presidency. It's December 23rd. We're under a month away. He's going to be inaugurated on January 20th. And it seems like, and this is very Trump of him, he did this during his first, term. He'll just throw out comments. I mean, and I guess it's good for news. You get a lot of stuff to write about with him. But on Sunday, he gave a speech to a big group in Arizona, and he said, "Hey, I want to rename the tallest mountain peak in the U.S. back to its original name. And we should care about this in Ohio because it's Mount McKinley. William McKinley, I believe he was originally from the Canton area.
Right. Well,
And,
he was born in Niles,
oh,
moved
Niles,
to Canton.
yes. Okay. Sorry, I messed that up.
That's all right. Yeah, he was born in Niles. Actually, had some time in Poland, Ohio, in his elementary years, and then he started his law practice in Canton.
Okay.
And then from there, he went, I believe, to Congress. Was elected to Congress out of Canton, and then made his way to the governorship, and then to the presidency. Twenty
Now,
fifth president.
now Trump likes his history, which there's nothing wrong with that. But here's what I'm thinking this is going to. It was called, Mount McKinley for a long time.
Right.
In
That's
2015,
that's the highest point in North America, I believe, in
right.
Alaska. It's
Well,
now Mount Denali.
mhm. Yeah, in
Okay.
2015, former President Barack Obama, when he was president, he visited and he wanted to recognize Alaska natives and the language they had chosen as centuries, and he changed it to Mount Denali, right?
Right.
And okay, now with Trump, lots of stuff comes up. I know around that time, that was about the time where Trump got into the birtherism argument and everything else, and the rivalry between Trump and Obama started. There are other people who say, hey, Trump doesn't like it when we're recognizing, original people and other stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know if that's the case or not, but it opens up a lot of questions like that. I don't. I mean, is this just a knock on Obama? Like I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I used to remember when Obama did that. There was a lot of people in Ohio that were really upset about it. I mean, taking down McKinley, and one of Ohio's native sons, favored native sons, one of the 8 presidents that came from Ohio. They didn't take too kindly to it, and it wasn't really a political thing. I think that just you put a name on a mountain, you expect it to stick.
Yeah, and I kind of wonder. Okay, there is some talk saying, like, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I know that there's been a lot of knock on Christopher Columbus, and there have been
Right.
statues of Christopher Columbus taken down. You know, President McKinley, as far as I know, hadn't done anything cancelable. You know what I mean? So this was just more of like Obama
He
wanted to
backed the gold standard, I remember, and he
recognize.
had a bunch of you know businessmen backing him for the presidency as a good Republican in those days. of the turn of the 20th century. He kind of brought America into its imperialist phase, starting the Spanish American War, and we got, I guess, a lot of land out of that. Got, I think, Puerto Rico and somehow the Hawaiian Islands. So we became a national power under McKinley. So he was an important man at the crux of history there. And he named Teddy Roosevelt as his vice president, and then got shot, killed, and Roosevelt became the 26th president and did lots of things.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying is, what do we do about this? I mean, yeah, it's going to get people interested. You know, I'm sure this is going to be a big deal in Ohio and in the Mahoney Valley area and Canton and everything. I totally get this, but is this really a, hey, let's recognize McKinley, or is this more of a, how dare you mess with the name, Obama, I'm
Right,
going to get
right.
you back by changing the name back.
Taking away, a slap at the indigenous people, um, and the media being what it was, and like to take a little jabs at Trump. I'm sure that will come into play.
Yeah, I really think, yeah, it looks bad when you do that toward a group of people. But I think really this is more of a knock on Obama than a knock at the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for Trump doing that, I think,
Yeah,
yeah, he's just gonna kind of undo some of the things that he thought were wrong by the Obama administration. I mean, don't forget he succeeded Obama. Now he's succeeding Biden, who was Obama's vice president.
right.
So it's another interesting part of history here.
Yeah,
And
and
Trump maybe is looking at himself as another William McKinley, maybe
well,
making America great again.
I get all that, and I understand that, but it does make him look bad. I mean, it doesn't
Right.
mean you can't say anything, but it's like, dude, I kind of look at this. Is this the war? It's just the yeah. Well, you talk about when you say, "Is this the hill you want to die on?" Well, is Mount McKinley the mountain you want to die on, or is this the fight you
Well,
want?
probably know a couple people in Niles that will say yes, and
Right.
I'm sure you know a few people in Canton that would say yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree with you. And is it something you want to touch off a new war with the Obamas and
Well,
Trump? Is he ever going to find peace across the aisle in his second term here?
well, here's the other thing too, and I even mentioned this on the article. He threw out a comment like, "Hey, we want the Panama Canal back." It's like, come on, dude. I mean, I I know you got scores to settle. I know I think he wants to one up Jimmy Carter now or something, and it's like, I mean, pick and choose your battles. I know part of his calling card is, hey, day one, I'm going to do a billion different things. Why don't you pick one or two and just stick with it? Don't be like, yeah, we're getting the Panama Canal back, and we're going to change Mount McKinley's name, and we're going to buy Greenland. And I don't know, man. I mean, understand the news cycle. Maybe try to do one neat thing a day instead of trying to change the whole world around the first day. I don't know. It
Well,
gets
it's
very
kind of
ridiculous.
refreshing that the focus has been taken off the building the wall with on Mexican border and the immigration problem, but I'm sure he's going to be tackling that also.
Well, here's the other thing too. If you're smart politically, if there's some bad news out there, throw something else out there. You know what I mean? Yell about the Panama Canal. You get the attention off one thing, and now you're on the other thing. I don't know.
Right, right.
Maybe he's smart enough to deflect a little bit. I don't
Well, it's
know.
also going to be interesting to see how many of his controversial cabinet posts, how they will fare in the Senate as they try to you know approve them.
Yeah, but here's I don't know. Um, I get a little. What do you say? I get a little annoyed a little bit about that because if Elon Musk, there's kind of this thought saying, hey, if you oppose the cabinet nominees, you're going to get primary. And I'm like, come on,
Right.
in
Right.
theory, it's good to hold people's feet up to the fire. And I just don't know if we're doing that right now.
And there's what reports that Musk may become the new Speaker of the House. Don't you have to be elected to Congress to do that? Or can you just, come in, be the Speaker without being a member of Congress?
I think technically you don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm,
I think there's somewhere, you don't have to be. And that would be interesting if Elon Musk could
boy,
pull that off.
I hadn't heard that. Was that like was that just
It
a
was just
rumor?
in some pundits' wanderings. I don't know if it has any legs to it, but I saw that somewhere while going through X Twitter, Musk's X Twitter. Maybe he posted it.
Well, I'm looking this up. This is weird. Mike, yeah, Mike Johnson said Friday night he spoke to Elon Musk during this debate over the spending bill, and
Mike Johnson is the current Speaker of the House.
well, get this. And this is a quote. This is from Newsweek. Elon Musk and I talked about an hour ago, Johnson said. And this was like, I think, Friday. He's like, we talked about the extraordinary challenges of the job. I said, hey, you want to be Speaker of the House? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, it might be the hardest job in the world. I think it is. Now, I'm assuming, Mike Johnson said
You're
that.
saying that in jest, but somebody picked it up and is running with the ball.
Right. But I mean, he said it. I don't know, man. What a weird world we live in right
Yes. Yes, and I got a feeling after January 20th, it's going to get even weirder. So it's
now.
something to watch.
Yes, definitely. To say the least, it's kind of strange. Let's talk about this. There was a story about the Christmas Story house, and they're saying, "What's the cost of a Christmas?" Are they're estimating what 240,000? Are they kind of figuring in the cost of the house? I'm a little lost here.
Right, in that part of Cleveland, it's kind of it's near downtown in the Tremont area of Cleveland,
Okay.
and there's not very $200,000 homes there, but there could be. I mean, there are some nice homes in that area, but it's older neighborhoods, and of course the Christmas Story house is depicted out of something out of the 40s, so it's probably built in the 30s, so it's running, coming on almost 90, 100 years old. So I guess that's what it's going to be worth. But you would think, it's like a museum now with lots of visitors, that it would be worth more than that.
Well, I think they're estimating the cost of the stuff in the house.
Oh, okay.
Because I
But I
misread
still
the
think
comment.
that's kind of low. I mean, you would have the winning the the major award lamp that got a great run in the movie.
Yeah. Oh no, no. You know what this is? And again, forgive me. I didn't read the story beforehand. They're saying, and again, apologies for not reading the story earlier. They're saying that you could stay in the house.
Oh, like a B&B
Yeah, for $24.95. But I mean
per night.
$2,495, not
Per night.
24.
Okay. So they're opening up the bedrooms, I take it. So you can sleep in Ralphie's bed.
For 2,500 a night, my guy. I mean, this is not.
Well, they were charging that much for hotel rooms at Happy Valley for this football game at Penn State last weekend.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Now here's okay. Here's the catch. For $24.95, you get the house. Okay. So
for a
you
night.
get to stay in the private third floor loft for the entirety of the stay, and you get use of the whole house from an hour after closing until 9 a.m. the following day.
Oh, okay. So that, yeah.
Okay,
So you
so
got to
that
get out. Checkout time's 9 a.m.
right, but now it's already booked for Christmas Eve, so $24.95. You're in the house on Christmas Eve. Now other rooms, and these are available overnight too. This isn't just Christmas Eve. The Stolen Turkey Suite, which is like a motif of the house. So it's one of the rooms in the house. 795 per night. Now you're just in that room. There's the Hound Dog Haven Suite for $595
Wonder
a
if you
night.
get serenaded by the dog, the hound dogs.
Quite possible. So here's the thing. Now that still seems quite high.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know, man.
I'm sure, a couple miles away at one of the swanky hotels in Cleveland, you can stay for much less
Well,
and
and
have room service to boot.
I saw a documentary where they showed the house that is now. It doesn't look exactly the same. I mean, you could sit here and say, "Yeah, the movie was filmed here." Man, you got to be a real big fan of that movie. Um,
Right.
I saw
And
Max.
remember, that movie was filmed 41 years ago, so I'm sure the house
Yeah,
isn't the same.
but on Max about a year or two ago, they came out with the sequel. Like they brought back Ralphie. And,
Right, right. A grown-up
oh,
Ralphie.
I don't know, man. I was watching it. It dragged a little bit.
Yeah, it was dragging, and it really, they could have wrapped it up in an hour.
Yes.
Speaking of movies and shot in Cleveland, I seen that Superman is getting a lot of publicity now.
Oh yeah.
And
That's going to come out the
Superman,
next summer.
I know in the summer he took over Progressive Field, and those shots are being released now in the promo up to the release of the movie. So it'll be something, that Cleveland fans will want to catch. And of course, Superman, the comic book, was born in Cleveland.
Yeah, very very interesting. Let me see this really quick because we're kind of running low on time. I
Yeah.
found another article about traditions that don't get celebrated that much anymore. This may be old school for you too. Yule logs. Have you ever done a Yule log?
No, but I've known
No.
people that have done it, and you don't hear about it anymore.
We've got the 12 days of Christmas.
Now
Um,
that's a high ticket item if you had to purchase everything that's in the song.
well, I'm thinking you're actually from the way this article is. I guess old school Christians celebrated Christmas from December 25th to January 6th. Because
Right,
I
to
guess it
the
was,
Feast of the Epiphany. Right.
12 days that the three wise men traveled to get to Bethlehem. I guess people don't celebrate that quite as much as they used to.
Right. As we know from listening to all the Christmas that's been on, the Christmas music's been an unending uh, play on some of the radio stations. That will end on Christmas Day. But like you said, some Christians go till the Epiphany, and still others go and keep their decorations up till, I've heard, till February 2nd, which is the Feast of Lights, Groundhog Day, which is when the Christ child was presented in the temple.
Hmm, okay. We got homemade candy. I don't think I ever made candy.
Oh, hard candy. I remember my mother-in-law doing that.
Okay.
The hardtack candy, yes. It's a
Okay.
lot of
Good.
sugar. Yeah, that's what I remember most of it. You kind of melt and concentrate the sugar into candy with food coloring. So you have different colors.
A lot of Christmas ghost stories out there. Um, yeah, I
Well, that
mean,
goes back to the Christmas Carol, I bet.
right. But apparently there was more out there. I mean, they just mentioned the Christmas Carol, but I guess there was more out there, which is kind of weird. Hiding a pickle in the Christmas tree. I never did that.
I just heard about that. Yes, somebody is doing that, and whoever finds it gets like prizes.
They say people think it was a German tradition, but there was a poll saying 91% of Germans have no idea what they're talking about. So,
Well, Germans
who
are the
knows?
ones that developed the Christmas tree, I guess. O Tannenbaum.
Yeah, definitely. Creepy Christmas cards. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Right. Well, I still got a lot of family pictures in my Christmas cards this year. And then there's the other tradition. Did you get Christmas letters from people? Like kind
No.
of wrapping up the past year? I just got
Oh,
one. It was a
okay.
3-pager. They
Oh,
kind of keep
like
you
from
up
the
on what they've
family.
been doing in the last year.
Yeah, it's been a great year. We had a kid.
Yeah, for both of us.
Yeah. Or maybe you'll do the letter if something bad happened. Like, we got divorced. It was a
Right.
rough year.
It's usually the last line.
Yeah. Sugar plums. I don't think I ever had
Oh,
sugar plum.
okay. Sugar plums. Roasting chestnuts in an open fire.
Yeah.
Is that on there?
I'm to number 8, which I'm actually going to save the picture. I might make it the the photo for this episode. Um, Placing live candles on the tree shows his
Wow.
family holding hands
I'm
around the
sure the
Christmas
fire
tree.
department frowns
Yeah,
on that one.
yeah.
A
Well,
live tree, especially after, it's been up for 3 weeks and lacking water.
yeah. Some of the worst stories I've covered some horrible Christmas fires, and
Right.
man, I don't think candles being placed in the tree help, but man, that's rough.
Right. And
Cooking the
keep the
Christmas
tree
goose.
a safe distance away from the fireplace.
Yes, please. Cooking the Christmas goose shows
Okay.
a picture
Yeah,
of,
I don't know too many people that have goose for Christmas. But I
yeah.
know a lot of husbands have their goose cooked if they don't get the right presents for their wives.
Well, this shows a painting of a middle-aged couple giving a goose to a cook, which is kind of weird.
Right. And that reminds me of the end of the Christmas story that we were talking about, where they go to the Chinese restaurant and have some duck, and he chops the head of the duck off right in front of the kids.
Oh man. We should wait from last to first, since we could have talked about this for a while, but we literally have like a minute left. But let me mention this real quick. The
Yeah, kind of finish off the list for us.
Lord of Misrule, man, we could probably do a whole podcast about this. Medieval Europe. Christmas was a time to take part in mischief and misbehavior, a little anarchy.
Yes.
I had no idea. So it's kind of like
Don't
Rumspringa.
give Mr. Trump that one. The
Yeah, it's
battle plan for that one.
yeah, kind of like the Rumspringa from the Amish stage or something. I don't know. All right, well that's interesting. I feel like I know a lot more about Christmas. All right, well,
And
guys.
don't forget, we're taping this or podcasting this on Festivus,
Oh yes,
December 23rd.
yes, and
So if you have any grievances, air them now.
and actually my next podcast, pop culture, we're going to do a lot of Festivus talk.
All
Well,
right.
guys,
Well, it's a
enjoy your
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas, Chris.
Yes, thank you
And
so much.
we'll speak to you probably one more time before the new year hits.
Yeah, we're going to tape something next week. We just got to figure out when. But for Guy, this is Chris. Hang on for a second afterwards.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Good night.